Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hi, I'm Ralph behind the camera. He likes to cook and I like to eat.
So it's always
a win-win.
I was going to say it always works perfectly. Welcome to Cavalcade of Food. So, we're having some friends over tonight, a bunch of guys, and we're playing poker. And we were talking about, well, gotta feed them, right?
Yep.
And so at first I thought, well, what can I do that's sort of easy and low maintenance? And so I was going to maybe have sandwiches, just put out a spread of, meats and cheeses and breads and other fun things and let everybody have at it. And then, what did you say, Ralph?
I said, what about Sloppy Joes? Because, you make a good Sloppy Joe, and I think that we haven't recorded an episode of making a Sloppy Joe. So
no, I don't believe we have.
Or as they say for my people, Sloppy Jose.
Well, you could make a Sloppy Jose if we wanted to sort of Mexicali this up a little bit with some jalapenos and maybe some other kind of more Mexican seasonings.
That's a good idea.
You could use like a taco seasoning or something like that, and certainly
and call it a Sloppy Jose.
Yeah.
But we're keeping it all American today, right?
Yeah, we're going to do a Sloppy Joe. Although I'm going to do maybe a little different. Here's how I do it, and there's a lot of recipes for Sloppy Joes, but it does require some vegetables. I've got a large onion here, a sweet onion chopped. In addition to the onion, I've got, I guess this is like 4 stalks of celery chopped. And then I've got a green pepper chopped. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm also going to throw in some mushrooms.
All right.
Mushrooms sort of add to the meatiness of the Sloppy Joe. Mushrooms and beef are a good combination. So we're going to put those in. So, it all starts, though, with we're using ground beef. No reason you couldn't make your Sloppy Joes, and some people do, with ground turkey or ground chicken.
Okay. Healthier, sort of somewhat healthier options if you like.
This is 3 pounds here of ground beef. I'm using a lean ground beef. So, we're going to put it in the pot here. I'm going to give it a little salt and pepper. Okay. And let's get a little thing to break it up. So, of course, we want to brown this beef. Now, even a lean ground beef is going to have some fat in it. So what I'm going to do is I've kind of got this on a medium-high heat here. We're going to break this down. It will shrink too as it cooks naturally. But what I want it to start doing is rendering out some of the fat that it has in it. Because as soon as it does, I'm going to throw in, frankly, our vegetables. Because I like the vegetables and the meat to kind of cook at the same time. And we want the vegetables to be soft. But the great thing about Sloppy Joes is, one, we could have just as easily done burgers, I guess, out on the grill. But this way, you know what? After the Sloppy Joes are done, you can leave them warm on the stovetop. I think what I'm going to do is probably put it in a crock pot and keep it on warm, and then everybody can just go back to it, right?
Yeah, hamburgers are easy, but this is even like more low maintenance.
I think it is more low maintenance. And you don't have to make all the patties, and you have a blah, blah, blah.
I want mine mild or medium.
Exactly.
Rare. This is all one size fits all.
So we're going to kind of let this get brown here. I'm going to throw the onions in first. Again, this is a large diced onion. Going to get that in the mix here.
So a medium heat, seasoned.
High heat.
Ground.
This is ground. And then we're going to put our celery. You're doing such a great job, Ralph. We're going to give you a raise in your celery. I got 1 pepper here.
What?
What?
Say something funny and I'll laugh.
I know, okay. I usually leave the jokes to Ralph, and you can see why. Okay, so all of our vegetables are in.
Wow.
All right. Now we're just going to let this kind of all cook together. I mean, I like the vegetables to be, on the soft side. And they will be, okay? So we're just going to leave this on. We're going to let that meat continue to cook, and we'll come on back when it's time to sort of add the other liquids to our sloppy Joe mix. So,
okay.
Okay. A lot of people use usually a tomato based, which is the traditional thing, and that's what we're doing. And I've got some tomato sauce here. Some people put ketchup in their sloppy joes, and that's absolutely fine. I like to use a chili sauce instead, okay, because that's got some other things. Then we have our ingredients. I've got chili powder, dry mustard. I'm also going to put in a little cinnamon, a little allspice, just to give it that little bit of sort of what I like to think of as savory sweet.
Oh, I was going to say sort of a Cincinnati skyline chili kind of thing.
Well, yeah, you can think of it that way, although I think that's got a more pronounced kind of
Mediterranean flavors.
Than this will have, but I just to have it in the background.
Great, can't wait. Let's take a little look at what you've got going here.
Here we are. So you can see it's been about maybe 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I still got some hamburger here that needs to cook, but you can see it's browning nicely. The vegetables are starting to soften up.
Kitchen's filling up with that great aroma.
Yeah, especially the mushrooms are a great telltale because they do shrink. And people have said, well, why don't you brown the meat first and then put the vegetables in? I actually think that the meat, it gets more of the vegetable flavor, like the onion and the pepper, especially when it cooks together at the same time.
It kind of infuses the meat.
Mm-hmm. I think once the meat is cooked, it's hard to infuse flavor into it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, we're going to keep on till we get this all. Now you can see, I'll see when we're done, there's a lot of liquid there.
What happens to that?
Well, a lot of it will evaporate. We're going to see what's left when we're done, and we may choose to drain it off, okay? Certainly that will help keep that'll help take some fat out of the end product, okay? Because a lot of that liquid is fat coming off of the meat, and some of it's water coming out of the vegetables. So fat doesn't tend to evaporate, but water does. So we'll see what's left when we're kind of done with this part of the preparation. All right? Okay, we've got the beef all browned.
Looks like you decided to drain it.
Well, you can see I have quite a bit of liquid there. Some of it's fat. I can see it floating on top. It was fairly lean beef, but a lot of it is liquid from the vegetables, which we always get. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a slotted spoon here, and we are just going to kind of take the solids out, and then what I'll do is now it'll be easy to drain the liquid from the pan, and then you know what? We will come on back, put our meat veg mixture back in, and then
add our liquid and spices.
Start building our sauce.
So is there anything you can do with this delicious looking soupy flavor stuff, or is it just all fat?
It's probably half fat and half liquid liquid that was extracted from the vegetables. I personally wouldn't use it for anything. You'd probably do something with it, I'm sure, because you don't like to waste anything. But
and I like to get creative in the kitchen.
Yeah, but we'll get this drained and then come on back and start our sauce.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we drain the pot. We're putting our contents back in over here. Okay.
Grease-free but not flavor-free.
Exactly. So now what we want to do is we kind of want to start building our sauce. So I'm going to start with a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce.
Okay, got it.
And then I'm going to add an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. So this is just plain tomato sauce, okay? There's no seasoning in here at all, all right? Then we're going to add a bottle of chili sauce.
Oh, this is the old-fashioned chili sauce, not the...
Exactly. This isn't like sriracha, super hot, spicy. This is
like a souped-up ketchup, really.
Exactly. This is like a soup ketchup with extra flavoring in it.
In the early days of home cooking and homemakers and housewives used to use that to sort of make their food more exotic.
Exactly.
Put it in a meatloaf and things like that, right?
And it's still, I use it in meatloaf as well. It's one of my ingredients. I'm going to put a little water in this bottle. You know why, right?
Our moms would be so proud because we don't like to waste a drop.
We want to get all that flavor. Mm-hmm. Okay. I actually may need a little more tomato sauce. We'll see. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce.
What's this here sauce?
Exactly.
And what about? Did you forget to put garlic in?
I didn't forget to put garlic in. I mean, I'm going to put the garlic in now. I could have put it in before.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
But I didn't want it to. I'm always worried that garlic sometimes can burn.
Yeah.
It's very delicate.
Oh, you mean if it cooks quicker than onions?
Or green peppers. So I got 2 cloves here. I'm putting in the garlic press. You could mince this if you want. However you want to do it. You could. Some people use like a little grater.
Kevin likes to put it in there and say nobody's looking. Hulk smash. Hulk smash.
So,
garlic. But yeah, that looks good. Look at those wonderful colors: the greens and the reds and the onions.
Yeah, let's see how we'll turn this down to medium low. Let's see how we're doing here coverage-wise. I think I'm going to add another can of tomato sauce. But, I don't know. Well, maybe not. We'll see. We're going to let this cook for a while. But before we go any further, we want to add some more flavorings to it.
Do you want to show people your buns?
I beg your pardon, what?
You know the buns.
Oh yes, well you can. So we've got some nice hearty buns here.
It's important to use. Sloppy Joes can get really sloppy, obviously.
Right. So how do you make them so that they're not so sloppy? You want a nice sturdy roll here. We've got some beautiful onion rolls, and
then look what we found.
Look what we found at the Kroger. These are jumbo. They're a big size.
But they're dark rye.
Dark rye.
Wow.
And they have a wonderful kind of, that rye, almost that caraway aroma to them. But you do want a sturdy bun to put this on because one, they're
liquidy.
They're soupy and they're going to absorb. And then, it falls apart and all this kind of stuff. But if you have a nice, hefty kind of roll, it'll hold up. All right. So, we're going to put in a little chili powder, okay?
Our friends aren't too dainty anyway, so they'll...
they won't.
They won't have a hard time eating these, messy
I'm
or
going
not.
to put in a teaspoon of chili powder. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of dry mustard. This will give it a little zip.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I've got ground allspice and ground cinnamon. This is optional. I'm going to put in I'm going to start with a 1/4 teaspoon of the cinnamon.
And it's kind of spice, cinnamon and the allspice that are in the right amounts used with meats can really bring out a nice mysterious savoriness without being obvious. Right. People don't always say, "Oh, there's cinnamon in there," but they get something that there's something different about it.
Yeah, they're picking up a little something. So I put in a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of the ground allspice. Okay. Now what I'm going to do? Oh my goodness!
You're getting off on those smells. Eh?
Yeah, I mean I'm getting. I don't know why with the garlic and the cinnamon and the chili powder and it's all smelling good. So here's what we're going to do. That's actually a fairly good consistency. I don't like it too watery, but we're going to let this simmer off for a little bit, and I'm going to cover it so that we don't lose any of that liquid.
So it's going to thicken up.
And we're just going to let that cook, and then probably 20 minutes, and then we'll come back. And it should be, kind of getting there. It generally would cook, you'd want it to simmer maybe about 40 minutes on the stove. But what I'm going to do is, I think I already mentioned, I'm going to transfer this to a crock pot.
So that it's ready to just...
So that it's ready, and you know what? It'll just keep it warm
like
for a
all
couple
night
hours.
during the card party.
The guys can kind of help themselves to it, okay? It's been 20, 25 minutes on the stove, simmering away. I did try it about 10 minutes ago, and I thought it needed a little more S and a little more P.
Salt and pepper?
Yeah. So I did add. So salt and pepper is something that really should be done to anybody's taste.
Mm-hmm.
So often you see salt and pepper to taste. But because there wasn't really that much salt, and actually the tomato sauce that I used, those cans of tomato sauce, were no salt versions. So
okay.
Anyways.
So could definitely use that, but the other seasonings were just right?
Yeah, I think so. And you're getting this aroma, this, again, back to our savory sweet. Just that little bit of cinnamon and ground allspice really
made it
brought
seem
something to
almost like there was sugar in it.
Yeah. And of course we didn't put any sugar in it, but it gives it kind of tricks your taste buds a little bit. That's good.
Happy?
Very happy. That is a good sloppy Joe. And if you wanted to spice it up a little bit, if you like it a little hot, Ralph was talking about, we had a jalapeno in the fridge. Could have chopped that up and threw that in there. That would definitely add some heat. Or, you could put a little Frank's Red Hot or a Tabasco sauce in there. Or you could also, put some crushed red pepper flakes in it. But anyway, so you know what? We're going to let this simmer a few more minutes. We're having sloppy joes tonight for our poker party. We had such a great time putting this together and sharing it with you. Thank you so much for being a part of it. And someone's at the door. We'll see you right next time here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.
Thanks to Count Basie and Neil Hefty for keeping us company.